Back to my channel. This is part 2 of the narcissistic personality disorder and Stockholm Syndrome video that I'm doing in regards to Harry and Meghan. Again, I want to do a disclaimer. I'm not a medical professional, and all of my content can be found on the web using it under the fair use, fair dealing guidelines. These are just my opinions, different things that I've noticed, observations, and observations of others. So make sure you check that out in the full description. So let's go ahead and go back and let's find where I left off. Now, I'm taking a lot of different information from various sites, and it's going to look like I'm going through this twice. So we finished with number 6, which was takes advantage of others, and that especially if a narcissist's needs are not being met, they have no problem taking advantage of others. Envious of others. Experiencing envy of others is another common symptom of NPD. Because of their low self-esteem and need to be superior to others, narcissists see people who have things that they don't, such as tangible items, status, or admiration, or as threats. Narcissists may also believe that others are envious of them, and while this is exactly the attention the narcissist wants, accusing people of such feelings may put an immediate end to the relationship. So where an example might be envious of others, I think that she was envious of Kate and William's relationship, of their beautiful children, of the favor that the people had. They all respected Kate and thought she did a great job at being a working royal. And then I believe that because of the criticism that Meghan received, whether it be from the newspapers or whether it was the royal family or different people that called her out for things that she was doing that wasn't professional, that those are things that bothered her very much. Number 8, you enjoy being the center of attention. Since narcissists need constant praise from others in order to feed their low self-esteem, and because they feel superior to others, they crave the attention at all times and will often seek it out. Narcissists dominate conversations, says psychotherapist Joseph Burgo, PhD, and the author of The Narcissist, what he does is, it says they feel compelled to talk about themselves and they exaggerate their accomplishments. I think we saw this many times with Meghan. Again, her pushing Harry out of the way. And in the beginning, she came across as a very shy girlfriend and, very humble. But as soon as she was married and had her permanent place in the family, she decided on public speaking engagements that she would upstage Harry, be the one to speak. I remember at events when there was a curtain opening, she would actually direct him where to go after someone at the event had already told him where he should be placed. And she constantly did this with talking, and when she was talking at one of the Women's Day events, and you could tell everybody on the stage was just annoyed with her and thought she just likes to hear herself talk and, just talks nonstop with that. Then, let's see. They are compelled to talk about themselves. They exaggerate their accomplishments. It's important to note that there are 2 types of narcissism. There's grandiose and there's vulnerable, says Sandra Van der Linden, a social psychologist at the University of Cambridge, to Shape magazine. Not surprisingly, it's the grandiose narcissist that craves the attention and often receives by being outspoken, arrogant, self-loving, and entitled. Okay, so we definitely see these traits in Meghan, or at least that's my opinion. Again, I'm not a medical professional. Lack empathy. This one isn't at all surprising considering all the other traits on this list. Narcissists often lack empathy. They are unable to empathize with others or understand other people's perspective to comprehend their struggles. I think an example of this would be that Harry and Meghan are living in California. Harry has given up everything that he's known his entire life. She knows he struggles with depression and mental health issues. She knows that's where his family is, and she really doesn't interact with her family except her mother. So it is troublesome that she would not want to recognize that. She doesn't seem to show him empathy. I think more or less it gets on her nerves, and she's bothered by the fact that it comes across to her as weak, and she doesn't understand the PTSD, but she puts articles out stating that she's worried about him, and on the other hand, she cuts him off from his family, giving him a divorce ultimatum, and doesn't want him to interact with his family and or friends. And when they do, she's right up on him and wanting him to cut the conversation off. So he is estranged from them. And whether they ended up in California with a decision that she made, that he made, that they both made, it definitely has affected him. And she doesn't seem to have any compassion or empathy regarding his feelings. Number 10, boundless ambition. We know this is definitely her. Having goals or ambition in life is a good thing, but narcissists take it on a whole other level because they feel superior to others and they think that they're naturally special. They often set boundless ambitions for themselves. Narcissists fantasize about being the best of the best. Now let's go back for just a moment when we heard all the rumors about Meghan emailing staff at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing wrong if she gets up and does yoga and emails them and gets an early start on her day, but it's not it's not appropriate to think that they should be responding back at that time of the morning, or the minute they walk into the office. You can have that great ambition, but you also can't expect everybody else to have that, and that's what they do. Okay, they fantasize about how much more powerful they will be, how much more beautiful, how much richer, says marriage and family therapist Carl McBride when talking to health.com. Their sense of entitlement and superiority is why they tend to only associate themselves with high-status people, and they obsess over status symbols, from the right shoes to the right stroller. Remember where she wanted to be friends with Oprah, and she invited other Hollywood actresses that she had never met to the wedding. She invited George and Amal Clooney. There were the Beckhams, and I do believe they were friends of Harry's. But she invited people because she wanted them to look like she was regarded them and was doing them a favor. And I think it's so that she hoped that they would help her out in return whenever she should need it. But she does act like she's an elitist and she's above other people. And when she does the walkabouts, she may act like she's down to earth and very caring. But that's the mask that they put on. And the sad part is when they have the mask on, people can't see that, right? So she keeps the mask on until she's out of the view of the public eye, away from the cameras, and away from anybody that can take a snapshot or videotape her when she has these meltdowns. But we've seen her face photographed, just like after the last event that they had at the Mountbatten, I think, music festival. When she got in the car, she looked very strange, and remember, Harry was very upset there, but she looked at him like, get a grip, get over it. She was happy that she was done, that was it for her, except for the Commonwealth Service. Narcissistic personality disorder. This is an overview. Disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self-importance. Narcissistic personality disorder is found more commonly in men. The cause is unknown, but likely involves a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Going back to the environmental factors, she can't help it if it's genetics, and we don't know if anything like that was passed on, but I can say from what we know about her upbringing and being shifted back and forth between parents, not just because they were divorced, because they weren't able to take care of them at different points, with the father and his alleged alcohol abuse and the mother's alleged jail time for 4 years. So it must have been difficult for her. So I could see where her being Doria's only child and Thomas's youngest child, and because of what she had gone through, that they would maybe spoil her a little bit more, maybe do things that they wouldn't have done for the other kids, and maybe it was just because they had the means. But I think they pick up on that, their environment and their nurturing and where it all comes from and how they receive it. And I do believe that environmental factors can be a big part of this for her. It says that it is rare that fewer than 200,000 cases are diagnosed per year. The treatment can help, but this condition cannot be cured. Let's say that again. This condition can't be cured. It does require a medical diagnosis. Lab tests and or imaging may be, or lab tests or imaging are not required. Excuse me. Chronic condition means it can last for years, or it can be lifelong. I don't know that anybody. I'm trying to think of other people that might have this condition right off the hand, and nobody's coming to me. But I also think that one of the reasons that she wanted to be in Hollywood and to be an actress is because of being on the set with her father, and she saw how these people were looked up to, admired, and she knew that they were financially secure and had nice homes and cars and were treated very special on set, having their own personal trailers and makeup artists. And I think she fantasized that that was the kind of life that she wanted to live. There's narcissistic personality disorder and causes. Some of these came from the Mayo Clinic, Help Guide, Psychology Today, and you'll see various other places where I pulled for the information today. Narcissistic personality disorder. Here's another description. The hallmark of narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, and grandiosity is a lack of empathy for other people and a need for admiration. People with this condition are frequently described as arrogant, self-centered, manipulative, and demanding, and they may have grandiose fantasies and may be convinced that they deserve special treatment. These characteristics typically begin in early adulthood and may be consistently evident in multiple contexts, such as at work and in relationships. People with NPD also try to associate with other people they believe, to be unique or gifted in some way. See, again, going back to the Hollywood stars or other people in royalty, she feels that this is where she should be. And also, it says that can enhance her own self-esteem. Makes her feel good when she's mingling with these type of people. It makes her feel like she's worthy to be in their company and that she herself is gifted and special in her own mind and delusions. Okay, they tend to seek excessive admiration and attention and having difficulty tolerating criticism or defeat. Well, we know that all too well, with her wanting to cut off different newspapers, saying that she would no longer work with them. I'm sorry, but she can't stand up and go against the First Amendment, freedom of speech. They have a right to write whatever they choose, and she has a right to criticize it if she wants, but you can't prevent people from writing about people, especially when you're in the public eye, and especially where you are a working royal and receiving private funding from the people of the UK. That was their tax dollars that were going in to pay for your lavish lifestyle, and her wanting to not let them know about exactly when she went into labor, and not all the secrecy around Archie's birth, and then not wanting to reveal the godparents. All again, a grandiose sense of self-importance, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Belief that one is special and can only be understood by or associate with special people or institutions. A need for excessive admiration, a sense of entitlement, exploration of others, a lack of empathy. Exploration of others means she will exploit them, especially if they go against her in any way. Believe me, she's going to come out fighting. A lack of empathy to others. Envy or of others, or the belief that one is the object of envy. So they'll be envious of others, and then they'll also think in their mind like she thinks Kate is envious of her, or different people were. But that's just in their head. It's not true. Arrogant, haughty behavior or attitudes, that they're outright wanting to have an elitist attitude, that they want to treat people poorly and have a bad attitude toward people, especially if they feel like they're not being treated in the way that they think they deserve. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see if I can skip some of these a little bit. We know that they don't like the criticism, sense of entitlement. I'm going to go to the narcissistic traits. All right, causes. This is a different take on them. Causes of narcissistic personality are not yet well understood. Genetic and biological factors, as well as environmental and early life experiences, are all thought to play a role in the development of this condition. And I do think that's where it all started, with the way she was brought up and how people tried to make up for things that had went on in her life, and how she was shuttled from home to home and all these different locations. It was allegedly said that in 20 years, Doria had moved 18 times. So I don't know how many times Meghan made that move with her. Treatment for narcissistic personality disorder can be challenging because people with the condition present with this condition present with a great deal of grandiosity and defensiveness, which makes it difficult for them to acknowledge problems and vulnerabilities. Psychotherapy may be useful in helping people with narcissistic personality disorder relate to others in a healthier and more compassionate way. That's just some of the references where this was found. So again, she would be hard to convince that she's got an issue to get into therapy, because she would think she has nothing wrong with her. And then it would be just as difficult for the person treating her to be able to get her to understand some of the perceptions about her actions, because she would think that she's above everybody and that everything she does is right and she doesn't make mistakes. She certainly does not have remorse, and that's a big thing with them. They never take ownership or accountability when they're wrong. Says, are you in a relationship that constantly brings feelings of uncertainty, confusion, and leaves you feeling emotionally unsafe and left out? Does your partner or in-law, parent, make you doubt your own sanity and rationality? This may be things that, Harry, you need to think of. They make you doubt your own sanity, rationality. Have you ever vowed to yourself that you'll secretly record your next conversation just to prove that you're not hearing things or going crazy? Is your partner, in-law, parent displaying narcissistic traits, i.e. demanding, domineering, devaluing, divisive, critical, controlling, manipulative, overly or covertly, just mean or cruel? Is their behavior damaging the trust and commitment within your relationship or marriage? Harry, if you're reading this, or if somebody else is seeing this that knows you, please go and look online. There is help. There are people who specialize in this. There's many psychotherapists in your area that deal with people of these type of behaviors and their mental illnesses. Getting the right help at the right time can make all the difference in uncovering the truth of your relationship and self-harm. And yourself. Learn how to effectively deal with a partner, ex, or in-law with narcissistic traits. Every relationship has its own purpose and its own lessons to teach. Our most difficult relationship exists to help us learn and grow if we so choose. But a true narcissist is someone that, and it says, is characterized by these conditions. This is just another site. An inflated sense of self-importance. We know she does that. She thinks that she's this global humanitarian, that everybody wants to hear her speak, and that no matter what she says, in her mind, she thinks people are giving her a standing ovation, and that they really were touched by what she has to say or are deeply affected. A deep need for excessive attention and admiration. We know that. We know she's done that, going to events, wanting to take over, stepping in front of Harry, wanting to, she's not going to stand back and let somebody else have a conversation. She will interrupt that conversation, step in front of them like she's done on many occasions, and want to reach out, meet the people, and just start talking to them. Forget that Harry was in the middle of a conversation. These are things that we saw with our own eyes. I'm sure there's many things that have happened that Harry has went through, or other members of the family, that we were never exposed to, often having trouble relationships. Meghan doesn't, she's estranged from all of her family except her mother, which I think is just a relationship of convenience. She's estranged with many of her friends and people that she's used and cut off in the past. Says what it boils down to, says licensed therapist Rebecca Weiler, is selfishness at the usually extreme expense of others, plus the inability to consider others' feelings at all. And I don't think that she considers anyone else's feelings. She's especially not considering Harry's. Okay, it just says that NPD, like other mental health or personality disorders, isn't black and white. Narcissism falls on a spectrum. There's different types. And it says the most recent edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders lists 9 criteria for NPD. So they're saying that you would need to meet 5 of them to be clinically diagnosed as a narcissist. Doesn't mean that you are one, but usually if there's 5 or more. And I'm going to tell you, when I saw these, I thought every one of them pertained to Meghan. But I would like to know your thoughts and tell me what you think. 9 official criteria from the Healthline for a narcissistic personality disorder. Grandiose sense of self-importance. Check. Preoccupation with fantasy of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. She wants to convey to the world that her and Harry have an ideal love. She wants to be a global leader. So, all these things, unlimited success in her mind. That's why she thought they could move to Hollywood and she would just have offers pouring in. She couldn't have been more wrong. And it's not just because of the pandemic. It's because of who she is and what she's done, and because of her reputation. Belief that they are special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high-status people or institutions. Check. Wants to always be around other celebrities. Need for excessive admiration. Yep, stepping in front of people, having to go out, be right up front, aimlessly talking because she feels like everybody's admiring her. We know she has a sense of entitlement. She didn't want to follow royal protocol. She ignored the courtiers and everybody else in the royal family that tried numerous times to help her. It was known or allegedly said that she would just turn her nose up at it. Lack of empathy. I think we can all see that. If you're empathetic of others, she wouldn't have hurt people the way she has and spoken poorly about the Cambridges or spoken poorly about Her Majesty or other people who have been there to help them. Envy of others, or a belief that others are envious of them. She thinks that everybody's jealous of her and envious of her, and she thinks that that they all feel that way. But actually, she also is envious of people. But she turns it around in her mind and tells people, no, they're very jealous of me. That's what it is. But it's both. Check that box. Demonstration of arrogant and haughty behaviors or attitudes. Purposely going out, trying to hurt people, talking to staff and other people that have helped her in a disrespectful manner, calling out Kate's staff, throwing a cup of tea on someone. All of this is alleged and what we've heard in different articles. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you think she meets the 9 points of criteria? To me, she meets all 9, not just the 5 that's needed. Okay, this is somebody that was talking about being in a narcissistic relationship. So listen to this. At first, they were charming as AF at first. It started like a fairy tale. Maybe they texted you constantly or told you that they loved you within the first month, something experts refer to as love bombing. Now, we all know that as soon as Meghan started dating him, she dropped her boyfriend, Corey Viatello, the chef back in Toronto, allegedly, I have to say. And then she gave up everything, and she was ready to give up her career, what was left of it, and everything that she had because she wanted to love bomb Harry. And before you know it, she was invited to go over there to live, supposedly so they could work on their relationship. Maybe they tell you how smart you are, or even emphasize how compatible you are, even if you've just started seeing each other. Remember when they had been dating a matter of weeks, I don't remember if it was 2 weeks, 6 weeks, Harry invited Meghan to Botswana, and that was the place, one of his favorite places on earth. And they were there camping, I think, for 2 weeks under the stars, and that's when their relationship really blossomed. And she had told people, and it was even in videoed, that she had said what a magical and wonderful place it was, and that, she had even given Harry ideas, allegedly, that she would even be willing to live in Africa or even Botswana. So all of these things that he would want to hear to make him think that she's the right person, these are things that she's telling him, and that's all part of the love bombing process that we've heard about. Narcissists think they deserve to be with other people who are special. So see, you can't just be with anyone. First husband that was annulled, allegedly, was an attorney. That didn't last but a matter of weeks, and then it was annulled. Then Trevor, he was a producer. She wanted to get into show business, so she married a producer, and so that he could help her get her in films. And he did help her get her in guest spots on different series, one time here and there, but he couldn't make it happen all the time because she didn't bring anything to it, and she wasn't a leading lady or even a supporting actress in real movies. And then she got with Harry. So Harry, she's moving up each time. It's somebody that can do a little bit more for her. Harry had status. They were given royal titles, and he also had the family fortune. So let's go on. But as soon as you do something that disappoints them, they can turn on you. And I'm sure she has on Harry many times. And usually you'll have no idea exactly what you did, says Tawab. How narcissists treat you or when they turn on you actually has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own beliefs. So if somebody is paranoid or envious or jealous, then, you may have done something, just talk to somebody that you knew, and they're going to think that you did it to hurt them, or that you were trying to make them jealous, or that you weren't giving them the attention they needed, and it'll all be directed back at you because, remember, a narcissist doesn't do anything wrong. They're never at fault. They never take accountability, and they never apologize or have remorse. It's always the other person's fault. So in each time this has happened, it's been the royal family's fault. It's been the press's fault, the newspapers, the magazines. It's been other people that have talked about them or written books or articles. It's all their fault. It's not anything to do with her behavior, but we all know it is. But in her mind, it's not. It's just other people being racist or being jealous or envious of her or not understanding her woke views. That's not it. Not at all. It had nothing to do with her color. It all had to do with the way she treated people, the way she came across, the way she didn't want to fit in and be a working member of the royal family. She wanted to be a standout, a superstar, someone who was in the limelight. She wanted to take the spotlight away from the queen, and she said, in her words, she wanted, or that she thought she was there to modernize the royal family. All right, if someone came on too strong at the beginning, be wary. Weller's advice, sure, we all love to feel lusted for, but real love has to be nurtured and grown. And it takes time, people. You don't just jump into a relationship and, and then, get so involved. And then you can't really, see what the relationship is because maybe you got physically involved way too soon before getting to know them as a person and a friend so that you could see them clearly before your judgment is clouded by the feelings of love and caring for someone. If you think it's too early for them to love you, it probably is. Or if you feel like they don't know enough about you to actually love you, they probably don't. Weller said people with NPD will try to manufacture superficial connections early on in a relationship. I'm sure anytime she was around Harry and out, she treated people with respect. She tried to follow the rules. She tried to, have the proper etiquette. But that was all just to impress him. And once you've love bombed someone and they have succumbed to it, they can't see you for who you clearly are anymore. Okay, 2, they hog the conversation, talking about how great they are. We know this. They constantly talk. They love to hear themselves talk. We went over this a little bit before. They do this because they feel better and they feel smarter than everyone else, and also because it helps them to create an appearance of being self-assured. Meghan is not self-assured. She wants to come off as that and give us that appearance because she's a feminist. She thinks she's a strong public speaker. And she has a lot of positive attributes. And I do think that she has charisma to make people like her initially. But I think that it's hard for her to keep up that mask. So they're also busy talking about themselves to listen to you. The warning is part 2. Here says Grace. First, your partner won't stop talking about themselves. And second, your partner won't engage in conversation about you. Let's say you're out having drinks with her and you're asking her what she's been up to, what's going on in her life, anything that she has planned for the future. And they'll share all that with you. But here's the thing. You've mentioned that, I want to be sure and talk to you about somebody I ran into on a recent trip. That never comes back up. They're not going to engage with you. They don't care what you think. They don't care what you feel. They don't care what you have to say. It's all about them. They feed off your compliments. They seem to like they are super self-confident. So they like to hear this. They need a lot of praise. And if you're not giving it to them, they'll fish for it. That's why they're constantly looking at you to tell them how great they are, how beautiful they are, what a wonderful speech that they gave, how wonderful you look. All of these things, they can't go without it. I'm telling you, the insecurity causes this, that they need those compliments. It says, and this is just an example, the main difference between folks who are confident and those with NPD is that narcissists need others to lift them up and lift themselves up only by putting others down. See, that's when she likes to put other people down. Kate, the kids, William, your family has done this. Oh, my father did this. Oh, my stepbrother, my stepsister. All of these people did this to me. Everybody's treated me wrong. They lack the empathy. We talked about this, and just that they lack the skill to make you feel seen, validating, understood, or accepted because they don't grasp that concepts of feelings. Now, they grasp their own feelings, but they don't grasp the concept of somebody else's feelings. And that's been said by other people out there. They don't have any long-term friends. She may have a few that have been long-term, but she's lost a lot of people. Her track record isn't very good for keeping friends and steady. She sometimes does things that they don't like, and she will cut them off, or they're not able to give her something. They can't do anything for her, and she sees them as being beneath her. Boom, they're cut off too. You say something bad about me in the press, I'm done with you. This paper writes something unfavorable about me, I'm not going to talk to that paper anymore. Okay, if you think, as a result, they might lash out when you want to hang out with yours. They might claim that you don't spend enough time with them, make you feel guilty, or spending time with your friends, or berate you for the types of friends you have. We all know it's been said that she didn't like any of Harry's friends. She didn't want him to hang around him, any of the ex-girlfriends. He was on good terms and had good relationships with all of them. Slowly, she took them away by not having them around, by telling him he can't hang out with them, that he couldn't smoke, that he needed to not drink, that he needed to be on a different diet, that he needed to lose weight, that, all of these things that he needed to do. She wants them to mimic what she likes and how she lives her life. It says, questions to ask yourself. How does your partner treat someone they don't want anything from? So think about that. Let's say you're at a restaurant and the waiter is there, and you know, you're wanting to ask him the specials, or he accidentally got your order wrong or something. How does the narcissist treat that person? Do they treat them with respect? Are they empathetic to them? That's okay. I know it was a mistake. That's all right. I'll just wait till you bring me something else. But no, they are going to criticize, and they're going to do it in a very hurtful and direct way. Does your partner have any long-term friends? Ask that again. Do they have or talk about wanting a nemesis? Okay, maybe at first it felt like teasing, but then it got mean or became constant. Suddenly, everything you do, from what you wear and to eat to who you hang out with and what you watch on TV, is a problem for them. They'll put you down, call you names, hit you with hurtful one-liners, and make jokes that aren't quite funny. The goal is to lower the other's self-esteem so that they can increase their own, because it makes them feel more powerful. What's more, reacting is what they say only reinforces their behavior. A narcissist loves that reaction from a person. That's because it shows them they have the power to affect another's emotional state. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation, and we've seen that where Meghan has said, oh, when she was in Toronto, there's paparazzi following me, and I'm in fear. There was no paparazzi, and because the Toronto police even stated it in their report. Oh, Harry, your sister-in-law doesn't like me. She talks about me behind my back. She doesn't treat me well. Well, then he's going to get upset, go back and say something to his brother, who's going to get upset because he's saying something about his wife. There's all different examples of the gaslighting. You know, oh, Harry, somebody's following us. We need more security. You no longer feel like the person you used to be. You feel more anxious, less confident than you used to be. You often wonder if you're being too sensitive. You feel like everything that you do is wrong. You always think it's your fault when things go wrong. You're apologizing often. You have a sense that something's wrong, but you aren't able to identify what it is. And you often question whether your response to your partner is appropriate. Signs of gaslighting: you no longer feel like the person you used to. And we just went over these things. You feel like everything you do is wrong. You make excuses for your partner's behavior. We didn't go over that one. And I think Harry has went to his family, and especially to William and Kate, and to other people and his friends, and made excuses for Meghan, and saying, you know, this has been difficult for her. It's hard to come to another country. She feels like nobody's given her a fair chance. People are, you know, hurting her feelings and cutting her down in articles. People are doing these things. So all along we've seen Harry has made excuses for Meghan, but he's also made excuses for her misbehaving. They dance around defining the relationship, but your partner is exhibiting some of the other symptoms on this list and won't commit. Okay, it's likely a red flag. Some narcissists will expect you to treat them like they are your partner so they can reap the intimate, emotional, and sexual benefits, while also keeping an eye out for prospects who they deem superior. Now, again, this is someone that has found a person. They're love bombing them. They want all of their attention, all of their devotion focused on them. But because they truly don't care about other people's feelings and aren't empathetic, it says that they're also keeping an eye out for prospects who they deem superior. They're looking for anybody else that they feel that is in their league, or they want to be in their league, or another partner that is higher status, more financially secure, or whatever it is that can be more helpful to them. In fact, you may notice that your partner flirts or looks at others in front of you, your family or your friends, says therapist. So we've seen Meghan flirt. We saw her at the Commonwealth Service when she flirted with the attractive athlete. I've seen her, she's got to touch people, put her hand on them, you know, lean into them. And I've seen her do this in many interviews, videos, and articles, and, you know, before, during, and after marriage. So let's see. If you speak up and own your feelings about their disrespect, they're going to blame you because now you're causing a fuss. They're going to call you crazy and they're going to use it as further reason not to commit fully to you. If you don't say a word, that also gives a non-spoken message. If you don't deserve to be respected, she says. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's no way Harry can win. He's going to be wrong no matter what. So, sounds like a lose-lose situation. That's because it is. But remember that you deserve someone who is as committed to you as you are to them. They think they're right about everything and never apologize. We talked about this before, and let's just go down to where it says that here's the bullet points. They don't hear you. They won't understand you. They don't take responsibility for their part in the issue, and they don't ever try to compromise. So I don't think she ever compromised with Harry. I think that's why they ended up in the boat they were in, really just stepping out. She was like, I want to get away. This is what we're going to ask for. We're going to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, keep all of our titles, keep all of our money, and then we're going to be global, have a global foundation, and we're going to be billionaires. That's what she wanted. But after she'd already said she wanted out, guess what? The Queen says, no, there can't be half in, half out. But we'll give you a year to think about this. So Meghan had to be furious that she wasn't getting what she asked for. But she didn't deserve those things. She was only a working royal. What did somebody say? Forgive me if I get this wrong. 57 times in the 2.5 years. And yet she's gotten out to, including the wedding and everything, she received close to $100 million that somebody else had figured up, allegedly. So anyway, so it says, and because they never think that they're wrong, they never apologize. The inability to apologize could reveal itself in situations where your partner is obviously at fault, like showing up for a dinner reservation late, not calling when they said they would, canceling important plans, last minute, and meeting your parents or friends. Good partners are always able to recognize when they've done something wrong and to apologize for it. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Number 10, they panic when they try to break them up. Harry and Meghan, allegedly it was told that they had broken up for a period of time. During that time, Harry went to attend Tom Inskip's, his best friend's wedding, which was being held in Jamaica. Because when the invitations went out, Harry had a +1, and I guess Meghan had seen the invitation, and they planned on going together. Harry went alone. He was dating a model, and he was taking a break or broken up or taking time away from Meghan. He's at the wedding, enjoying himself, having a good time. And I know you've seen these where Meghan's got this crazy look and clawing her hands into his back and being rude to everyone. And bless his heart, he's got a few friends coming up to talk to him, and Meghan, I'm staring him down like she's got laser beam eyes, burning a hole right through them. But it's so sad. So she shows up without his knowledge to be his +1. At first, they may love bomb you. They'll say all the right things and they'll make you think they've changed. But soon enough, and that's what she did in this case for him to take her back, but soon enough, they'll show you that they never actually changed. And because of this, many narcissists find themselves in on again, off again romantic relationships until they find someone else to date. Now, we know about 3 or 4 she's already had, and she's said allegedly to have a 2-year itch. They've just celebrated their 2nd wedding anniversary, but as long as she keeps getting the money, the support, and thinks that his status can help, then she's going to continue with this. And when you show them that you're really done and lash out, oh gosh, that's when it all comes falling down. Sorry. Their ego is severely bruised, and it causes them to feel rage and hatred for everyone that has wronged them. And that's because everything is everyone else's fault, including the breakup. And it says the result. They might badmouth you to save face, or they might start immediately dating someone else to make you feel jealous and help heal their ego, or they'll try to steal your friends. Oh, gosh, can you think of the things, and especially if she does have things in the diary that the royal family doesn't want out there. I don't think it's anything that can really hurt them, but I think that she's done some pretty underhanded things that, just like any of us wouldn't want to have something out there. But I don't think it's anything so damaging that they can't recover from it. I think she uses that as a little dangling carrot in front of them, and it sounds like maybe as a little bit of blackmail, extorting them a little bit. All right, okay, you're dating a narcissist. If you're in a relationship with someone, chances are you've already experienced quite a bit. Being in a relationship with someone always criticizing, belittling, gaslighting, and not committing to you is emotionally exhausted. That's why, for your own sanity, experts say, you got to go get help. And you know what the initials there stand for, GTFO. I won't say it. But anyway, Lord, that's why when we see Harry, we feel like, oh my gosh, that he looks so bad, so sad, and that his physical appearance has changed. His personality seems to have changed. And this, again, just my opinions and my views, and I think what, some of you may see as well. How to prepare for a breakup with a narcissist. You have to constantly remind yourself that you deserve better. Strengthen your relationship with your empathetic friends. Touch base again. Tell your friends how sorry you are. Talk to your family, and build your support network with friends and family who can help remind you. Urge your partner to go to therapy. That's not going to happen, but get a therapist yourself, because you can't change them. That's what it says. You cannot change this person's personality or disorder. Or make them happy by loving them, except or changing yourself to meet their whims and desires. They can't feel fulfilled in relationships. Never. They're never going to be happy. They don't know what makes them happy. They're always searching for happiness. Harry, narcissist, can't feel fulfilled. I don't care if she's living back in LA. I don't care if she gets 100 different movie roles. I don't care if you become billionaires. It's not going to be enough. You don't understand. You cannot give them what they want. Essentially, you'll never be enough for them. And they'll never be enough for themselves. The best thing you can do is cut those ties, offer them no explanation, offer no second chance, break up with them, and offer no second, third, or fourth chance. Because a narcissist will most likely make attempts at contacting you, harassing you, calls or texts, and they'll even reach out to people you know. They'll even reach out to your family. They'll email people. They'll call people. They'll do like her father did, go to the press to say, he's not talking to me. I've got to talk to him. And, they're going to tell lies about you, Harry. But that's all going to happen no matter what. She's already making you look like a lunatic in the press with the people she's releasing stories out to. Okay, it says, and I want to reiterate this. Remember, this article isn't meant to diagnose your partner. It's meant to outline unacceptable behaviors and reactions in the context of a loving, equitable partnership. None of these signs point to a healthy relationship, NPD or not. And having one of the 6 signs does not mean that your partner is a narcissist. Rather, it's a good cause for reevaluating whether or not you're thriving in your relationship. Come on, Harry. You don't want to just survive. You want to thrive. Meghan's never going to find that, but you're never going to find it with her, because she's not going to allow you to. So again, I'm not a healthcare professional. These are just things that I've read online and that I'm just sharing with you. You make up your own mind. You have your own opinions. That's the way it should be. But I have seen different things, and I've tried to point them out to where I feel like they correlate with what I've read here today. But I would like to know what you think. Now I want to talk about one last thing. If somebody has been with someone with narcissistic behavior, there's a thing called Stockholm Syndrome. And I believe, in my opinion, not as a medical diagnosis, just simply what I'm saying for entertainment purposes, it looks to me like Harry suffers from Stockholm Syndrome, which are feelings of trust or affection felt in many cases of a kidnapping or hostage or taken by a victim toward a captor. That doesn't mean that he has to be taken by a kidnapper, but Meghan has pulled him away slowly, away from his family, away from Kensington Palace, then to Frogmore, then away from there, then to Canada, then away from there, then to California. But it can also mean that they're just isolating them and slowly putting more and more distance away from them and shutting off all forms of communication between them. Is Stockholm Syndrome a mental illness? No. Although despite being a psychological phenomenon, Stockholm Syndrome is not a mental illness. Instead, it's classified as a syndrome, which is a condition that is characterized by a set of syndromes that often occur together of the major symptoms that are also associated with the syndrome itself. Now, we talked about Harry, or we didn't today, but Harry has PSTD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from being in the military, and he's talked about wanting to help other people from going through that. This is all allegedly. A person who develops Stockholm Syndrome often experiences symptoms of post-traumatic stress, nightmares, insomnia, flashbacks, a tendency to startle easily, confusion, and difficulty trusting others. So to me, that's very much what he's going through. It says that why is it called this, and is it Stockholm Syndrome real love? It's a psychological condition that occurs when a victim of abuse identifies and attaches or bonds, whether positively, with their abuser. This syndrome was originally observed when hostages who were kidnapped not only bonded with their kidnappers, but also fell in love with them. It's hard for people to understand, but it's like somebody's been held captive. You hear about these girls that were held captive for years, and then they finally escaped, and they had to develop a relationship with them. It was a way of maintaining their sanity. So anyway, so it says that this response wherein a captive begins to identify with his or her captors as well as his or her agendas and demands. In other words, it's a process of brainwashing the captive. So it's a process that Harry has went through, and it's over a period of time. Now, I'm hoping I don't have to do part 1 and part 2 on this, but I'm going to try to splice them together. But if not, I'm sorry if I have to make this into 2 parts. So again, my full disclaimer is down in the description. I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that Meghan does have a narcissistic personality disorder? Do you think Harry could be suffering from Stockholm Syndrome? Do you have any other thoughts? Maybe you don't think that about either one. I would really like to know what you think, and anything else you have to say. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Again, apologize for the length of these. But, and again, thank you, Jill, for recommending that I do these. I really appreciate you, dear. And it was wonderful speaking with you today. Other people, please give me suggestions and leave me comments. We'll talk back and forth. I love that. I love the interaction. So, and I want to put something out there that is of interest to you guys, and something that that you want me to do a video on. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and set your notifications so that you'll know as soon as the next video is made. I've made, I guess this is my 5th this weekend so far, and I'm about to make another. So if you didn't see the others, go back, search for it on YouTube, and you can just do autoplay and set them up one right after the other and watch them. Just have a binge on it. All right. Thank you again. Goodbye, everyone.